What's up, everybody? It's Coach Cherry here of the Wedgehurst Rillaboom, back with the Week 3 Pick'ems. Um, as you can see here on the screen, we have the updated standings for the league. We have 5 2-0 teams, 6 1-1 teams, and 5 0-2 teams. So the distribution of records is about as even as it could be. Um, However, the divisions are a little lopsided here because we have 4 2-0 teams in the Shield division and 1 2-0 team in the Sword division. Of course, the team in the Sword division, though, is the defending champions, the Cerulean City Mewtwo. But the Shield division has a lot of the very heavy hitters from this season so far. As you can see, the Hydreigons have the highest differential at a plus 10, which means they had 2 pretty dominating victories in their 2 weeks so far. The Mewtwo, though, are in second place overall, though, with the plus 7, because they also had a couple pretty good victories themselves. One team I do have to shout out, though, is my Week 1 opponent, the Lisbon Arcanines. They were, they're obviously 2-0, but after Week 1, after my battle with them, we ended in a 2-2 tie, which means that their differential was 0 after 1 week. So this past week, as you can see, they are 2-0 with a plus 6 differential, which means they had the most dominating victory that you can possibly have, being 6-0. So congratulations to the Arcanines and to all the other winners from this past week. Alright, so let's get into the actual pick'ems now. So, the first matchup here is the defending champion Mewtwo versus the New York Nickets. As I said, the Mewtwo took home the victory against the Swablues last week, and the Nickets were able to take the victory from the Porygons. So let's take a look at their teams real quick. So the Mewtwo have their G-Max Gengar, Dracovish, Mandibuzz, Scizor, Flygon, Rabombi, Galarian Slowbro, Hitmonchan, Miltank, Meowstic, Thwackey, and Wartortle. They have probably one of the most diverse teams in this league, and they have just one of the best overall teams, and I don't expect anything less from the defending champion. Now, their opponent this week is the New York Nickets. They have G-Max Caparajah, Excadrill, Cobalion, Silvally, Gigalith, Rotom Mow, Mantine, Sandaconda, Stoutland, Raboot, Coughing, and Shedinja. So, they also have a very good team themselves, but they have a little bit less of a type diversity, being that their top 3 there are all steel types. Now, the Mewtwo doesn't have a fire type, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so, I mean, fire is basically Steel's main weakness. However, they do have Flygon and Hitmonchan, both being types that are also strong against Steel. I think that the match will be pretty close. However, I think I have to give it to the defending champion, Cerulean City Mewtwo. Again, as I said last week as well, I can't go against the Mewtwo until they prove me wrong. They are the defending champions, and I'm expecting them to go pretty far in the playoffs again this year. Alright, so next up, we have the St. Louis Swablues against the Nashville Nidokings. So both of these teams lost last week. The Swablues lost to the Mewtwo, as I said, and the Nidokings were a lot of our coaches in this league thought that the Nidokings were going to win, and so I guess I can say that the Nidokings were upset by the Flapples, and so both of these teams are looking for a bounce back week. Let's go see. Alright, so the Nashville Nidokings, they have their G-Max Rillaboom, Clefable, Blissey, Togekiss, Quagsire, Charizard, Toxtricity, Vanillux, Shiftry, Alolan Sandslash, Behem, and Unova Stunfisk. They have, I think, a very good overall team. As you can see, even though there's only 1 week listed here, they have their G-Max Rillaboom and their Togekiss and Vanillux, all with kills, a total of 6, and none of those 3 died in that week 1 matchup. So I expect big things from at least 2 of those 3 again, being the Rillaboom and the Togekiss. And then let's go check out the Swablues here. So the Swablues have G-Max Venusaur, Kyurem, Crocodile, Primarina, Colossal, Lucario, Kanto Ninetales, Pinsir, Rotom Fan, Kadabra, Wailord, and Porygon. So this team overall, I think, has some pretty good members on it. But I don't know, I'm looking at the overall picture here, and they're 0-2, and they, at least in their week 1 matchup, it looks like they did not get a single kill. I mean, some of their better ones are obviously the G-Max Venusaur and Kyurem. But yeah, I don't know, I definitely believe more in the Nashville Nidokings. So I'm going to have to go with them for the victory here. Alright, next up is the Celadon City Porygons versus the Galar Greninjas. So the Porygons were on the losing end against the Nickets last week, and the Greninjas pulled out the victory against myself, the Wedgehurst Rillaboom. So let's check out these 2 teams. So the Greninja are 1-1. They have a primarily electric type team. That's their kind of theme of their season. As you see, they have the Pincurchin, who is the terrain setter. And then they have Toxtricity, Zeraora, Alolan Raichu, Pikachu. Yeah, they have all those electric types. And then they have Celebi, Gyarados, Golisopod, Centiskorch, Lapras, Rhydon, and Thievul. So, one of the kind of surprises about this team is that so far through 2 weeks, they have yet to bring their G-Max. Even though he kind of goes with the electric type theme. I was kind of expecting to see him bring it against me, as I only have one ground type, and that was my Gastrodon, who was easily knocked out by his Alolan Raichu and the Grass Knot. But yeah, like I said, he has not brought his toxicity yet this year. I do expect to see it at some point, maybe this week. I got to see exactly what the Porygon's team is, but I definitely do expect to see that Zeraora again, and definitely the Gyarados, and definitely the Pincurchin. Because, like I said, the Pincurchin is is kind of the one that sets this whole thing up with the terrain. Now the Porygons, they are 0-2. They have Gmax Dreadnought, Terrakion, Porygon Z, Klefki, Arctovish, Gallade, Magneton, Drifblim, Leafeon, Dracloak, Kanto Rapidash, and Solrock. So it looks like, to me, the Porygons are a little bit at a disadvantage here, as their Gmax is Dreadnought, which is weak to the theme of the Greninjas. The Greninjas also have, like I said, they have Celebi, which is a grass type, and they have the Gyarados, which I believe has Power Whip as well, and they have the Raichu with Grass Knot. So all three of those are also a threat to that Gmax. Then they have, let's see, yeah, I think overall, I gotta say that the Greninjas have the advantage in this game, and I expect them to take the victory. And sorry for the Porygons, but that would mean that the Porygons go down to 0-3. Next up is my match between the Flapples and the Rillaboom. So, as I said last week, the Flapples, in many people's eyes, upset the Nidokings with their victory, and I lost the close match to the Greninjas. I didn't really have a lot to counter their electric types other than Gastrodon, like I said. So let's check out the Flapples here. So they have Gmax Charizard, which they did not bring in week 1, but I'm almost 100% confident that they did bring it this past week. They have Corviknight, Tangrowth, Torkoal, Araquanid, Noivern, Obstagoon, Galarian Rapidash, Toxicroak, Piloswine, Togedemaru, and Kanto Persian. So, yeah, they have a pretty diverse team, and I have one of the most threatening Gmaxes that there are in the Charizard. The Gmax Wildfire is one of the more devastating Gmax moves, in my opinion. And they have another one of the better S-tier Pokemon as well. But overall, I think they have a really good team, really diverse, and they have a lot of potential. But let's see my team. So my team is the Gmax Lapras, the Dragapult, Gastrodon, Venusaur, Braviary, Drapion, Frostlass, Abomasnow, Turtonator, Oranguru, Trevenant, Dunsparce. I think I have a pretty diverse team as well, and I don't really want to say anything about my game plan, but the two of our teams are pretty similar, I think, in what we can bring to the table. However, I have to bet on myself, and I have to go with that I'm going to win. Even though I feel like I might be at a little bit of a disadvantage with their fire types, especially the Charizard, I think I can outlast that and pull out the victory. But good luck to our coach Aboot here and the Flapples. So the next matchup is the #1 overall team right now, the Hydreigon, versus our commissioner Manny and the Stark Mountain Giratinas. They both won this past week, with the Hydreigon taking a victory over the Gengars, and the Stark Mountain Giratinas winning over the Renegades. So let's take a look at that real quick. So Manny and the Giratinas here, they are 2-0. He has the G-Max Snorlax, Cinderace, Hatterene, Kanto Slowbro, Dusclops, Meanshao, Dragalge, Vileplume, Steelix, Rotom Frost, Musharna, and Emolga. As you can see here, let's see. He has brought his G-Max Snorlax twice. He's brought Cinderace twice. Hatterene once, Dusclops twice, Meanshao twice, Dragalge twice, and Steelix once. Now, being that he is the commissioner and everything, I think it's safe to say he knows what he's doing. He has another one of the biggest threats at G-Max with the G-Max Snorlax and its G-Max Replenish. When it has that move, it's almost nearly impossible to take down because it heals back up so many times. The Cinderace, though, I think might be his biggest threat with its hidden ability, being that it can change type. And then I also think that the Dusclops is also a sneaky pick there, being that it could be a Trick Room setter and completely turn the tables on everything. But yeah, I think overall he has a very good team. But let's go down here to the #1 overall team right now. They have the G-Max Inteleon, Volcarona, Sylveon, Duraludon, Heracross, Claydol, Lycanroc, Duskform, Dhelmise, Quillfish, Skuntank, Kanto Raichu, and Clefairy. So, as you can see, they have a +10 differential, meaning that they have 12 kills and only 2 deaths. And their 2 deaths are from 2 of their lower tiered Pokemon, both of their C tier Pokemon, Dhelmise and Quillfish. They have Inteleon, who has 3 kills, Duraludon, who has 2, Heracross, who has 2, and then the current kill leader in the league, with the Lycanroc, with 5 kills. So I 100% expect to see the Lycanroc and the Inteleon. And the rest of the team, though, I mean, he's brought, 1, 2, 3, 4 of his Pokemon he's brought both times. And I would expect to see both of them again, or all 4 of them again. Let's see. That's a very hard choice, but as much as I want to go Hydreigons because of their stats and everything, I think that the Stark Mountain Giratinas will take it this week. So let's move on. So we got the Wild Area Renegades versus the Lisbon Arcanines. So the Renegades lost to the Giratinas last week, and as I mentioned before, the Lisbon Arcanines took down the Rally Goons 6-0 last week. They had a very dominating victory. So let's take a look at their teams. So we got the let's look at the Renegades first. So the Renegades are 0-2. They have Gmax Flapple, Mew, Gengar, Rotom Wash, Caparaja, Hitmontop, Talonflame, Alchemy, Tauros, Alolan Dugtrio, Grapploct, and Morgan. Now, this was a team that was a bit of a wild card coming into the season because they were not originally part of the league, but one of our teams had to back out at the last second. So our friend Lucas here and the Wild Area Renegades were selected to take the place of the other team. And as you see, they've had a rough start to the season, like a few of us have. They're 0-2, but they have a pretty good team here. I think that the Gmax Flapple, if used correctly, can be one of the best Pokemon in the game. Mew also can be an annoyance to deal with. Then there's Gengar and Rotom Wash, two big threats as well. And then Caparaja, Hitmontop, Talonflame. Yeah, I think that they're all pretty good. But then we go up to the Arcanines here. As I said a couple of minutes ago, the Lisbon Arcanines here had a dominating 6-0 victory. They brought, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of their same 4 of their same 6 that they brought against me. They brought again last week. The Hatterene Gmax, the Single Striker Urshifu, Alakazam, and Indeedee. And then it looks like they also brought with them this week the Tentacruel and the Scyther. When last week they brought Kling and Mawile against me. So the Lisbon Arcanines here, they have a very good team that kind of centers around the Indeedee because of the terrain setter that Indeedee is and all that. And then they have a powerful Gmax and a powerful S-tier Pokemon. Both, as you see, with 3 kills each. It looks like they both survived this past game. I mean, I gotta say, all of his Pokemon survived in this past game because they did win 6-0. But his top 2 are very, very big threats. And I gotta say, I think that the Arcanines will improve to 3-0, which would mean that the Renegades go down to 0-3. Now, our next matchup is the Fargo Phalanx against the Lavender Town the Lavender Town Gengars. So the Phalanx lost to the Immunity Idols, and the Gengars lost to the Hydreigon. So let's see. That would mean that they are both 1-1 and both looking to get back on track with a win. So let's take a quick look at their teams. So we got the Gengars. Let's see. The Gengars have the G-Max Corviknight, Mimikyu, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Galvantula, Inteleon, Mudsdale, Aromatisse, Morpeko, Mr. Mime, Kanto, Sneasel, and Wobbuffet. Now, they have a pretty good overall team, and they have another big threat at G-Max with the G-Max Corviknight. And Mimikyu, another pain to deal with. And then they also have Galvantula, which has a lot of hazard threat potential. Now let's scroll to the Phalanx here. They have the G-Max Grimmsnarl, Chansey, Mamoswine, Melodic, Heliolisk, Sirfetch'd, Whimsicott, Doublade, Xatu, Butterfree, Seaking, and Noctowl. Now, they have a pretty solid team here as well. Namely, I think the Chansey, which can be a very big pain if used correctly, and Mamoswine, which has sneaky potential as well, I think. But yeah, I think that they have a pretty solid team overall. However, I think I got to give it to the Gengars. I think a lot of people had them picked from last week, but they lost to the Hydreigons. And I think that they just have a better overall team. So I expect the Gengars to get the win there. Now, moving on to our final matchup of the week here. We have the Immunity Idols, who beat the Phalanx last week, against the Rally Goon, who were the team that got beat 6-0 against the Arcanine. So we have the Rally Goons here, who are 0-2. They have G-Max Duraludon, Rillaboom, Chandelure, Scolipede, Diggersby, Jellicent, Shuckle, Druddigon, Ninjask, Kangaskhan, Lickilicky, and Dedenne. Now their top few, I think, are pretty solid picks, being that Rillaboom can have its hidden ability, Grassy Surge, and Chandelure is also another one of those that I think is a lot better than some people think. And then the Idols, who are 2-0, they have the G-Max Cinderace, which cannot have the hidden ability. Komodo, Starmie, Galarian Weezing, Bronzong, Umbreon, Vikavolt, Dusknoir, Roserade, Liepard, Hoenn Linoon, and Palpitoad. Yeah, I think that these guys overall have a very good team here. As you can see in their logo, their main ones are Komodo, Starmie, and Roserade. I think that they have a solid chance of being 3-0 this week. And I think that they just have the better overall team here. And they have one Pokemon here, Bronzong, who I believe they had made it into the top 5 plays of the week, if I'm not mistaken, with their explosion play that they had. But yeah, I expect the Idols to take the victory here. So to recap, I have the Mewtwo winning, the Nidokings winning, the Greninjas winning, the Rillaboom winning, the Giratinas winning, the Arcanines winning, the Gengars winning, and the Idols. Those are my picks, which would mean that we would have, let's just check real quick. So I have the Mewtwo winning, the Arcanines winning, the Idols winning, the Giratinas winning. So that would mean that there would be four undefeated teams going into next week. We only have one. We only have one matchup between undefeated teams this week, being the Hydreigons versus the Giratinas. The rest are all facing teams that have lost at least one game, and I expect that all those other 2-0 teams will win those games. So, as always, it's been fun, and I'll see you guys next week.